May we bow our heads in prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God of all nations, Father of the human family, we give you thanks for the freedom and we exercise and the many blessings of democracy we enjoy in Fiji. We ask for your protection and guidance for all who devote themselves for the common good, working for justice and peace at home and around the world. We lift up our duly elected leaders and public servants, those who will serve us as President, Prime Minister, Ministers of Government Departments, and opposition members as legislators, judges, and those in the military and the law enforcement. Heal us from our differences and unite us, O Lord, with a common purpose, dedication and commitment to achieve liberty and justice in the years ahead and for all people, and especially those who are most vulnerable in our midst. And in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Honorable members, please be seated. Secretary General.
Confirmation of minutes.
I now call on the Leader of Government in Parliament, the Honourable Rofilipe Tissoau, to move his motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the minutes of the sitting of Parliament held on Thursday, 18 April 2024, as previously circulated, be taken as read and be confirmed.
Is there a seconder?
I second the motion, Honourable Speaker.
Parliament will now vote on the motion. And the question is that the minutes of the sitting of Parliament held on Thursday, 18th of April 2024, as previously circulated, be taken as read and be confirmed. Does any member oppose the motion? No. As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
Communications from the Chair.
I welcome all honourable members to this final sitting for the week. I also welcome all those joining us in the gallery and those watching the proceedings on television and the internet. Thank you for your continued interest in the proceedings of Parliament. Honourable members, please join me in welcoming the law students from the University of the South Pacific. Welcome to your Parliament, and whilst Friday proceedings are usually short, I hope that you will have an appreciation of the mechanics of Parliament proceedings. This is about the second incoming batches to attend the sittings, and we are so humbly proud of your presence here. Because at times we don't know whether there is interest in the workings of Parliament or not. People place less importance in the proceedings of Parliament, but this is where, let me remind you, you may have been taught this is where they make law. This is where they repeal the laws. This is where they amend the laws of the country. It's a very important duty that honourable members here, 51 of them, that they are being charged to be responsible with and be answered back to the people who voted them in. This is the people's house, this august house. And we wish you well. You stay here with us and learn as much as possible when you are here with us. Only learn the good things, not the bad things. Bad things you live in the house. Thank you. I think Devu is not here. Supposed to welcome another gentleman, but he is not here. That's okay. We'll move on to the next item. Secretary General.
Presentation of papers and certain documents.
I now call on the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Finance and Strategic Planning, National Development, Statistics, the Honorable Professor Biman Prasad, to table his report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, in accordance with the Standing Order 38, Clause 1, I present to Parliament the report of the Auditor General of the Republic of Fiji, audit report on follow-up of high-risk ministries and departments. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Please send the report to the Secretary General, Honorable DPM. And under Standing Orders 38, Clause 2, I refer the report of the Auditor General to the Republic of Fiji. I refer the report of the Auditor General of the Republic of Fiji, audit report on the follow-up of high-risk ministries and departments to the Standing Committee on Public Accounts. Thank you. Am I right if I say that, Deputy PM? Thank you. And I now call upon the Minister for Lands and Mineral Resources, the Honourable Philemon Raposarongo, to table his report. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, in accordance with Standing Order 38, Clause 1, I present to Parliament the Ministry of Lands and Mineral Resources annual report of 2021-2022.
Thank you, and please send the report to the Secretary General. Honourable Minister. Thank you. And under Standing Orders 38, Clause 2, I refer the 2021 to 2022 Ministry of Lands and Mineral Resources annual report to the Standing Committee on Natural Resources. Thank you, honourable members. We will proceed to the next item on the order paper. Secretary General.
Questions.
The first oral questions for today, and I now call on the Honourable Ketan Lal. Oh, Honourable Ketan Lal is sick. So I'll ask the Honourable Opposition Whip, Honourable Poto, to ask this question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, Mr. Speaker, I'm asking question 39 of 2024. It is under Honourable Ketan Lal's name in today's order paper. And the question is to the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Education, Tourism and Civil Aviation. Can the Deputy Prime Minister update Parliament on the status of the redemption of student bus cards? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir.
Honourable Deputy Prime Minister, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Our Parliament has changed, all for the better. In the past, if the questioner was not here, the question was not asked. So thank you, Speaker, sir, for the rules, the new rules in Parliament that allows Parliament to operate as it should be in a democracy. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The Ministry of Education has data that 63,454 out of the 77,539 students have successfully redeemed their subsidized cards for Term 1, 2024, inclusive of 2023 eligible students. The public was informed accordingly regarding the redeeming of subsidized cards for Term 1, 2024 by the press release on 15/1/24. The data given above is from the eligible families whose combined household income is below 16,000 per annum. Mr. Speaker, sir, there's a process that is involved in all this. And as highlighted, about 18% of the students have not redeemed their cards. There's a process in place which says parents and guardians must ensure that the transport system application form are submitted at school. Head of school assesses the application and updates verified application into FAMIS, FAMIS being the Future Education Management Information System. The head of school verifies the status of the application in FAMIS. Headquarters staff extract the transport system data of students that have applied and send it to Vodafone Fiji to provide the student recent card number and balance. Headquarters staff calculate the fare from the FAMIS data and end balance from Vodafone Fiji to upload the funds to the subsidized cards to cater for them for the school term. Students redeem their subsidized cards at the redeeming centers. Some of the reasons, Honorable Speaker, why there's non-redeeming of cards by the 18% is that the non-verification of student application in FAMIS is factoring this, Honorable Speaker. One of the reasons is an area of concern is the change of card due to loss or damage. However, the new card number information is not submitted to headquarters, who in turn are unable to submit it to Vodafone for loading of funds. This is a critical area, Honorable Speaker. The new card will not work if the proper process is not observed about the lost and damaged card. We also had 2023 subsidized card holders that have not applied for the assistance of this academic year 2024. They may have balances from 2023 and use it all at the beginning of the year, but because they have not applied for the new academic year, the card is not topped up. When the card has zero balance, the student can no longer use it. It is then they realize, or their parents, and then they try to get new cards and reapply. The verification and lodging, the new application, will depend on our schedules of payments with Vodafone. Also, multiple tapping of subsidized cards for other students and utilizing the funds intended for the term are more rapid, Honorable Speaker. We are taking mitigation plans by the ministry. Our continuous reminders are being sent out to the education district officers and schools for the eligible students to apply for the assistance. Replacement cards are being updated in FAMIS, and district officers are being informed accordingly, and new card numbers are loaded with funds. Head of schools to verify the 3,024 submitted status, not verified, application in FAMIS. We're also looking at introduction of Vodafone point of sale terminal for redemption of subsidized and non-subsidized cards in other outlets, Honorable Speaker. On the action plans, new students, application cards are registered and sent to schools. Change of cards are submitted from the district offices and funds are loaded accordingly. Head of schools reminding parents and guardians to apply for the assistance. And again, Honorable Speaker, this is for those under 16,000, Honorable Speaker, the family income under 60,000. We are also, Honorable Speaker, looking at point of sales in schools, as opposed to what we currently have, to help rectify this, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me just say that the system has been in place since 2018, and we started off with 56,728 students. Today, at the end of 2023 and into 2024, there are now 71,203 students who are now using the system, the e-ticketing, Honorable Speaker. So it has been there. It's growing by the day, but there are processes that need to be observed, which is affecting the full implementation of the scheme, Honorable Speaker. But be assured, Honorable Speaker, that we are working towards ensuring that everyone has access to this. It's mostly operational, and assistance is forthcoming from the ministry to ensure that everyone benefits, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. EPM Honorable Ngavoka. Yes, supplementary. We'll begin with Honorable M. Chang, then we'll be followed by you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The transport assistance scheme for students, it was introduced by the previous government to ensure that no child is left behind and students, they don't drop out of school. Recently, many parents and students have expressed concerns over the failure to redeem student bus cards 8 weeks into the term. Can the Minister for Education inform the Parliament on the reasons behind the disarray and how the Ministry will compensate the parents and the strategies to ensure this is not repeated in future? According to the Honourable Minister, thousands of students were affected. So my question is, can the Minister for Education inform Parliament on the reasons behind the disarray and how the Ministry will compensate the students and strategies to ensure that this is not repeated in future? Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, you have the floor, sir.
Mr. Speaker, sir, and members of the House and the people of this country, there is no disarray. Honorable Speaker, there is a process. There is a process. As I said, 82% of the students are benefiting already. The heads of school and the parents and the students who are not benefiting from this is due to the process not being observed. And we are taking steps to mitigate this, Honorable Speaker. There will be POS now in schools. And there is backup every day. There's reminders every day, Honorable Speaker. This is a system that has been there since 2018. And these are recurring problems. When I listen to my people and the way they present this to me, these are they're very experienced people. They know what is happening. And it's amazing how they're controlling this. But like I always say, what is Honorable Speaker? It takes two to tango. Okay? The Ministry of Education is doing its job. The parents and the students do their job, and everything will be cozy in this country in terms of this one. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
That sounds good. It takes two, right? Yes, Honorable Pramila Kumar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, the problem with that side of the House is they can make the announcement on the budget. We are helping the parents, we are helping the state, we are helping everybody, but the implementation is so poor. And that's an example of poor implementation. It's called implementation deficit, Mr. Speaker, sir. And the question to the Minister is, when are you going to use all this money? Why are you keeping that money for last 8 weeks? You know, while parents are forking out money from their pocket. Is that fair to the parents, Mr. Speaker, sir?
Honorable Mr. Speaker, sir, if we can all cooperate to educate the parents and the students on how to do it, instead of going around spreading lies, we can all be happy about this, Honorable Speaker. There is funding there. There is money there, Honorable Speaker. We also play a role here, Honorable Speaker. There's money there. It's public funds. There's a process in place. And as I said, 82% are already benefiting. The 18% need our help to try and get them to do the right thing. And the opposition can help instead of telling other stories, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable One River.
Honorable Minister Ngavoka, in my area in the border of between Ra and Wenimbuka down to the Northland, the LC carrier operators have not been fully paid for 12 weeks now. Mr. Speaker, sir, my question to Honorable Minister is, does your ministry have the funds? And if so, when will full payment be made to them?
Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, order.
Honorable Speaker, there are about 615 RSL providers in the country, about more than 600. And there is a process in place, Honorable Speaker. They need to summarize. Let me read out the process, Honorable Speaker. The following payment process is followed for the transport providers. The RSL summarizes and the vouchers are submitted by the transport provider to the district officer. The district transport assistant officer counts the vouchers and verifies the RSL voucher summary is correctly filled as per the checklist. Once the verification is complete and the checklist filled, the relevant documents are submitted to headquarters. Headquarters verifies the summary and before HMS input and further processing, within 3 to 5 days, we make payments. Within 3 to 5 days. You submit the correct the summary, Honorable Speaker, within 3 to 5 days, it's paid. And the question is, why are there delays, Honorable Speaker? As I said, there are 615 RSL providers in the 9 education districts. Non-compliance by RSL providers often lead to delay in payment. The RSL voucher summary being incorrectly filled, checklist accompanying the summary being incorrectly filled, the requirements of the checklist not being met. For any errors or incompleteness, discover a HQ for any of the summaries received. The summaries are reverted back to the district office, Honorable Speaker. So that is where the delays. You do it right at that point, you get your money within 3 or 5 days. That's it, Honorable Speaker, 3 or 5 days. And we are doing what we can to educate them, Honorable Speaker. Yeah? So again, as Honorable Speaker, it takes two to pay these. Them, the RSL guy, people, the education ministry, and I said, it comes, the summary is right, within 3 or 5 days, you get paid. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we'll move on to the second oral question for today. I now call on the Honorable Alitia Ambainivalu to ask her question.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask question 40 of 2024 to the Honorable Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs, Climate Change, Environment, Civil Service, Information, Public Enterprises and Veteran Affairs. Can the Prime Minister update Parliament on the establishment of the Fiji Public Sector Lending Institute?
Thank you, and I now call on the Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs to make his response.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I also join you in welcoming the students who are here with us this morning. And I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for allowing me to, you allowed me to be a little late and have my question deferred to the next sitting. But I tried to be back in time. Mr. Speaker, sir, I was at a funeral service for the late Absalom Tundriu, a long-serving civil servant of Fiji, and a product of the training systems and processes that were in place during his time as a civil servant. To answer the Honourable Assistant Minister's question, Cabinet approved the establishment of the Fiji Public Service Learning Institute earlier this year, on March the 19th. By that time, we were well into the process of serving out the budget of the year and the establishment of the FPSI SLI, which will ensure the Fiji public sector has a skilled and experienced workforce needed to build a strong future for our nation. The Institute delivering high-quality, work-relevant learning programs using timely, cost-efficient approach will support the realization of government priorities and improve service delivery to the community and businesses. And the training, Mr. Speaker, sir, will provide, will cover the following: the service examinations, customer service, ethics and code of conduct, quality circles, project management and monitoring, various policies and initiatives introduced in the civil service, finance and non-finance officers, government regulations, governance and leadership, public administration and management, human resource management and local government administration and management, etc. The Institute will also provide high-quality specialized courses for Fiji's foreign service officers. Honourable Speaker, sir, it will be a centre of excellence for sharing best practices in modern diplomacy. Through the Wuvale partnership with the Australian government, support is being confirmed through various training providers, including the Australian Diplomatic Academy. Honourable Speaker, sir, the Institute will also help in creating a learning organisation separate from the civil service that will eventually build a reputation for quality learning and be accepted as a provider of choice by the civil service and business communities. And I refer to the late Absalom Tundreu, who grew up in the civil service using the various stages of training provided by the Public Service Commission of his time. In the future, it is intended that fee-for-service program will also be provided or offered to other organizations outside of the public sector, also in the Pacific, especially the small island states. The budget will be implemented as part of the 2024-25 as the Cabinet approval was received well into this budget year. And work programs will also be initiated. It is envisaged that an amount of $1.3 million would be sought for operational and capital expenditure. The time frame for the Institute to be implemented it will be in 3 stages, including the design phase, the preparation of the physical classroom and center, and various MOUs with partner institutes in the region. Stage 1, Mr. Speaker, sir, the establishment of the Institute, which involved enlisting the expertise of qualified consulting services to provide guidance and support to the Ministry of the Civil Service in establishing and developing a PSLI. The consulting team will work closely with government stakeholders to design the Institute structure, develop its curriculum, and establish key partnerships to ensure its success. In terms of reference for the consultancy service to investigate the establishment of PSLI will be advertised this week. The following deliverables for the consulting firm are: 1, research and scope, the establishment of the PSLI, development of a PSLI strategic plan, including vision, mission, goals and structure, design and develop comprehensive curriculum framework and course materials aligned with FPSLI objectives, facilitation of accreditation and registration processes with relevant authorities, implementation and management of IT services, including website development, learning management systems, setup and review and revamp of the current Moodle platform and training packages, delivery of training programs to upskill current MCS, including how to write training packages for online platforms. Stage 2, Mr. Speaker, sir, involved the improving of the physical training and learning facilities to support face-to-face learning and provide a location for the Institute to operate as a recognized institute. The refurbishment of the Government Training Center in SSA will include scoping in 2024, source funding 2024-25, and completion in 25-26. The budget of $1 million is requested under Head 50 for OAHU. The Memorandum of Understanding, Mr. Speaker, sir, with Somare Institute of Leadership and Governance and the Vanuatu Institute of Public Administration and Management have been developed and submitted for endorsement. Mr. Speaker, sir, the MOUs seek to explore opportunities for jointly extending learning services provided by these similar institutes in Australia, Papua New Guinea, and Vanuatu, and provide those in Fiji, including participation in experience sharing and institutional building activities. With regard to nature and legal status of FPSLI, there will be consultations with the Office of the Solicitor General to determine this. Before I resume my seat, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have allowed the civil servants today to take half the day off and support our rugby teams, either at the ground or on television. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Prime Minister. Honourable LOP.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I also wish to contribute to the late Mr. Shlomi Tundreu. We presented our Rengo there yesterday, the old students of RKS. He was at RKS from the late 70s to most of the 80s. Of course, former vice president of the Methodist Church of Fiji. Civil servant, contributed a lot, and we do remember him, and our condolences to Eka and the family. My simple question to the Honourable Prime Minister, sir, is about FPSI as being a recognized institute. This is going to deal with mainly adult training, and one of the key aspects of adult training is what we call RCC and RPL, the recognition of current competencies and the recognition of prior learning. So my simple question to the Honourable Minister is, how is FPSLI preparing or prepared for this? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Prime Minister, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. As the Honourable Leader of the Opposition knows, there are entry requirements which are produced by the selection panels, and there are also competency assessments carried out by the various departments. Those all count towards career progression of a civil servant, and also towards the recommendation on or the non-recommendation of a civil servant to continue their training in the institute. And as we enjoy this afternoon's match, I hope we will be mindful of those that continue to serve in the police services, in the fire services, in the military services of our country, those that will not be able to come and watch the games with us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, Honourable Tony Sumati.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Just along the same lines of the question that was answered by, asked by the Leader of the Opposition, one of the things that we find in a lot of ministries, that are people that have the competency to be able to do things. They've proven it in the way that they can write, that they can do things, but because they don't have the same academic qualifications as others, they are not recognized as such. So I think the question is there a possibility in this of ticking off the competencies that they already have, so that when they fit into a program, they don't have to go and redo what they already are able to do. And that cross-grading, that is what we mean by recognition of current competencies. So instead of having to do the whole program, they just have to do the portion to plug the gaps. Sorry.
Mr. Speaker, sir. For some time now, I've been asking the office to try and reduce the size of the submission paperwork required that they send up for my approval for the final yes or no to the filling of some civil service positions. So there's a lot of that being done right now, but it's all on paper, and I'm trying to reduce the ask the service to reduce the paperwork. And as you heard, we're trying to have a lot of interaction with the computer, have the portals ready and available, and as well as the starting point of the open merit recruitment system.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Alvik Maharaj.
Thank you, sir. And I would like to thank the Prime Minister for coming up with such initiative. Just trying to get some clarity, Honorable Speaker, government has actually funded Pacific Polytech with a couple of $1 million. And now we are actually forming a new institute. Just a clarity, why can't we actually use Pacific Polytech to provide the same training? Because Honorable Prime Minister is asking for another $1 million to establish this institute. So having funded a particular institute, why can't that institute be used to provide this training?
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank the honourable member, but there is a distinct difference between what is provided for under Polytech and also in-service training and progression, as will be covered by the Institute. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Honourable members will now move on to the third oral question for today. And I now call on the Honourable Ratu Josiah Nyundambo to ask his question. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to ask question number 41 of 2024 listed under my name, directed to the Minister for Fisheries and Forestry. With the seaweed farming having a huge potential in coastal communities and maritime islands, can the Honourable Minister inform Parliament on the current status of the seaweed programme? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. You have the floor.
Honourable Speaker, sir, before responding to the oral question this morning, please allow me to clarify the issue highlighted in the Fiji Sun today, indicating the non-clarity of my statement yesterday. Fiji Sun indicated that I spoke about the assessment of net emissions under the FCPF, Forest Carbon Partnership Facility. Yet the statement, Mr. Speaker, sir, was actually providing some clear information on the REDD Plus and the FCPF arrangements, with the government detailing the work that has been carried out so far and where the work is currently placed as of this week. A written statement clarifying how the statements of the net emission under the FCPF program, Mr. Speaker, sir, will be presented for the information of this August House.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to respond to the oral question 41/2024. I thank the honourable members for the oral question, sir. Honourable Speaker, sir, one of the major aspects of the ministry believes. Honourable Speaker, sir, farming of seaweeds was initiated under the Commodity Development Framework Project in 1980s. It is a low-tech process well suited for a lifestyle of rural coastal communities. Ecuma seaweed has been already technically feasible in Fiji. Seaweed farming has proven to be a stable income source with proven health benefits and alternative food source. Its universal appeal is evident as it flourishes across the northern, central, western, and eastern divisions, establishing clusters in various locations like Lakemba, Nakalo, Ndama, Sasa, and Ndakunimba in the northern division. It is providing economic security to coastal communities, women, and youth groups alike. Honourable Speaker, sir, although the commodity is well developed and ready for large-scale commercialization, until now the industry has not reached to the level it was anticipated to reach. Seaweed farming has slow momentum over the last 3 years, in which products volume dropping from annual volume of 200 tons to down to 85 tons. Market price has always been a major challenge in seaweed farming. It must be sufficient to maintain grower interest compared with returns to competing rural income sources like fishing, copra, dalo, yangona, to name a few. The coalition government is here to change. The unwavering commitment by the coalition government towards the seaweed program is evident through the increased allocation of $330,000 for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. Honourable Speaker, sir, this is a major turnover made by the ministry, which aims to bring up to where the seaweed industry needs to be. This will allow investors to partner with the government through the funding set-up of seaweed farms and market accessibility. The ministry will in turn provide suitable extension and rice-free services for the 10 viable communities to consistently supply to this market. This partner will also improve the seaweed farming pricing and payment structure. Community will be able to make an arrangement with the investor on agreement bank price, and this will establish quality standard of seaweed operating procedures for the market needs. The ministry has been instrumental in augmenting volume addition and expanding market reach. Through strategic partnership with other ministries, we aim to unlock new avenues to grow the sustainability, paving the way for a brighter future. Looking ahead, our vision is ambitious, yet attainable. We aspire to produce 500 metric tons of seaweed annually within the next 3 years, engaging communities, bringing the Northern Division expanding to another division by 2029. Our goal is to involve 60% of coastal communities in seaweed farming, fostering inclusive economic development with an approximate return to a community project owners of 1.2 million annually. Honourable Speaker, sir, the coalition government believes partnership with investors and the establishment of seaweed farmers cooperative will help to ensure the sustainability of the project. Honourable Speaker, sir, one of the major aspects of belief is to go and start further is the development strategic approach in handling over the commodity setup to investor and support community development program. Honourable Speaker, sir, in April last year, the Cabinet approved the Ministry proposal for adjustment of the current farming arrangement of seaweed to cater to the growing market. For this underscore our dedication to the growth and success of this initiative. Our proposed strategy for mass production integration underscores our dedication in improving efficiency and ensuring economic prosperity to all stakeholders involved. The Minister of Fisheries and Forests, for the first time ever, signed a public partnership with a private entity, Shuluk Island Fresh Company Limited, with a strategic partnership to establish a community-based seaweed farming collaboration for sustainable ocean management. Through this partnership, we will work together to promote eco-friendly and modern seaweed cultivation practice, creating new economic opportunities while preserving marine ecosystem. By leveraging the collective expert resources, food security will be enhanced. Climate change mitigated socio-economic development, forest targeted and seaweed farming communities. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. That was quite a mouthful. Yes, Honourable Rainesh Sharma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, we can understand that the global seaweed market has a forecasted value of 14.6 billion by 2031. And the 2023 and 2024 national budget has allocated 330,000. So with this new allocation and knowing that the climate is one of the major issues and with the seaweeds being planted in shallow areas, what innovative approach with this 330,000 allocation, what innovative approach has your ministry taken to mitigate these challenges for the farmers? And, Mr. Speaker, sir, part two of that is, if there is an issue of accessing to finance, you have mentioned about partnerships. Mr. Speaker, sir, what are the multilateral and multi-sectoral participatory collaborations your ministry is endorsing to boost this assistance and initiative?
Would you like to answer that, Honorable?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, sir. Yes.
You covered the first answer quite well.
Yes, sir. Already covered. Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Koya.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, my question is quite simple. What have you done after giving us all the figures with respect to what is happening within the seaweed program? What have you done to educate or otherwise the community that does this seaweed farming with respect to value adding?
Before you reply, Honorable Minister, remember the initial question was raised by Honorable Ratu Tosea. Are you doing seaweed farming up there? Well, you can reply to that question. Or they're doing a new variety up in the hills.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank for the questions from the Honorable Opposition. We now starting with a new 360 degrees turnaround with the fish. Yeah.
That's a new variety, sir.
It's not a new variety, sir. It's the damage they do with the fish, with the seaweed industry. As I have mentioned in my statement, that it's dropped from 200 tons to 85 tons. That means they are not for the last few years. So we are trying to build up these industries before going into training into value adding. First, we need to start farming before we going into other. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Virendra Lal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, my supplementary question is similar to what Honorable Rene has asked. Sir, the minister has just informed. That there is increased budgetary allocation to the seaweed program, and despite that, there is a huge reduction in the production. So why so? Why so? My question is, when there is increased budgetary allocation, the production should increase. Is it due to the other factors? What other factors? Thank you, sir.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir. There is a lot of research done during this period. We need to shift into various places that are accountable for seaweed farming, but they are not doing that in the previous years. So we need to go further. Yeah, we need to do research on that. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Yes, that will be the last supplementary question, Honorable Nopoto.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir. Our seaweed farming is, we farm and we sell it as a raw product. There is an option, Mr. Speaker, if we set up a factory facility just to extract the carrageenan, that is what is extracted from seaweed, carrageenan that is used in packed tin product, for canned meat, you have carrageenan in there. If we go that way, set up that facility, maybe that will entice more people to go into farming, and then we can export the carrageenan, which will bring in higher value. Has there been discussion along those lines? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, sir. As I have mentioned earlier, once we have the stock, the investors will come and they will establish that for that purpose, Honorable Speaker, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, honorable members. The reply is very clear. Order. The reply from the honorable minister is very clear. He is setting up the stock. And then the investors will come running. So we'll take it at that and leave it at that as well. And we'll now move on to the fourth oral question for today. And I now call on the Honorable Ratu Isikeli Tuilevu to ask his question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask question number 42 of 2024 to Honorable Minister for Rural Development, Rural Maritime Development and Disaster Management. Can the Minister update Parliament on how it has progressed in budget implementation concurrently with managing disaster operations during the course of the current financial year? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. The floor is yours, sir.
Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Cabinet Ministers and Assistant Ministers, Honorable Leader of Opposition and Honorable Members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm pleased to provide a response on how the Ministry has progressed with its budget implementation, and I thank the Honorable Member for the question. And whilst it continues to manage disaster operations during the course of this financial year, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry strives to do its best in achieving its core responsibilities, that is both the coordination and facilitation of rural development and managing disaster operations in its season. Mr. Speaker, sir, the average results of 93% budget utilization during the last 3 years, the nation faced multiple hazards, namely Category 4 Tropical Cyclone Harold, Category 5 Tropical Cyclone Yasa, Category 2 Tropical Cyclone Ana. In the midst of COVID-19 is a testament of the Ministry's commitment to diligently serve its people. I have continuously informed and updated this House on the vulnerabilities that our nation is exposed to that has made extreme weather events a constant threat to our development gains. This historical perspective not only sheds light on the challenges faced by the country, but also underscores the importance of proactive measures in safeguarding the lives and livelihoods of its people. Environmental hazards, including cyclones, floods, earthquakes, and tsunamis, have over the years brought about devastating consequences, prompting the government to prioritize disaster preparedness and mitigation efforts. However, Mr. Speaker, sir, with the adoption of global and regional agendas and mechanisms, Fiji has tailor-made disaster risk reduction initiatives so that our development is risk-informed and sustainable. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I stand here today, the various communities of practice on disaster risk reduction continues to churn out literature, programs, initiatives, and policies, all racing against time to ensure that the globe, including Fiji, achieves the sustainable development goals within agreed timeframes. While implementing them in country to some extent has reduced disaster risk, there still remains a level of risk for financial investments towards our public sector development programs. As Minister responsible for disaster management, I have been entrusted the task of mainstreaming disaster risk reduction into all aspects of development for our community, as well as government as a whole. And within this enormous task lies the responsibility of ensuring sufficient financial investments to manage the existing risks through mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery efforts. Mr. Speaker, sir, please allow me to shed some light to this August House of the Ministry's overall budget utilization rate in the recent past 3 financial years. In 2021, 87% utilization rate on the budget allocation of $16.6 million. In 2021 to 2022, a 96% budget utilization rate from the budget allocation of $14.5 million. In year 2022 to 2023, a 97% utilization rate on the budget allocation of $15 million. Mr. Speaker, sir, these achievements were realized in the same period where Fiji was experiencing tropical cyclone Tino, Harold, and Yasa in 2020, 2021, and 2022 and 2023, with Harold, Yasa, Anna, Cody, and Mal. Mr. Speaker, sir, despite these achievements, I would like to state that the Ministry has had its fair share of staff retention challenges in the recent years. Sometimes government takes for granted. This is mostly in the forms of previous government's lack of appreciation and compensation of the staffing ability to work long hours with little to no benefits provided in any disaster management operation, despite the assistance of our key line ministries. As most civil servants usually take rest during any disaster, our ministry staff usually engage full-time for this purpose to ensure timely response and recovery for the people of Fiji. And as a result, Mr. Speaker, sir, our staff resignations have increased from 2% to 5% in these 3 financial years. In the year 2020 to 2021, 2.4%, 2021 to 2022, 5.21%, in the year 2022 to 2023, 5.46%. Staff resignation was mainly due to better offers from other line ministries, including regional organizations, who offered much better salaries and benefits to our staff because of the nature of work we undertake in the ministry. And for the current financial year, the resignation rate has already reached 3.82%, and we are confident that the removal of short-term contracts by this government will bring some sense of security to our staff and civil servants as a whole. On a positive note, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry acknowledges the dedication and commitment of the remaining staff that have decided to continuously serve the people of Fiji despite all the challenges. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry had been allocated a total budget of $29 million for the current financial year, 2023 to 2024. Out of this, $15 million is the operating budget, of which about 51% has been utilized. Mr. Speaker, sir, our personnel costs budget is about 51% of the total operating budget, and the Ministry has utilized 67% of its budgeted personnel costs. The combined expenditures for the other 5 standard expenditure groups have reached only about 35%. Out of the $13 million capital budget, 85% or $11 million has been released to the Ministry, and overall 48% of this has been committed. However, I would like to note that budget utilization for a number of capital development projects have exceeded 80% commitment. These are Community Access Road, Footpaths and Footbridges, or the CAF program, where 85% of its $2 million budget has been released to the Ministry, of which 80% is now committed. Self-help program, 100% of its $1 million budget has been released to the Ministry, of which 87% is now committed. High-risk water and sanitation program, 100% of its $0.8 million budget has been released, of which 84% is now committed. Seafaring Entrepreneurial Assistance Scheme, 100% of the $0.5 million budget has been released to the Ministry, of which now 82% is committed. Upgrading of Staff Quarters Program, 50% of its $1 million budget has been released to the Ministry, of which 83% is now committed. Mr. Speaker, sir, as this August House is fully aware, the Ministry was assigned 3 new capital development programs this financial year: the Rural Housing Assistance Program, Rural and Outer Island Development Program, and the Seafaring Entrepreneurial Assistance Program. The Seafaring Entrepreneurial Assistance Program, Mr. Speaker, sir, is a relatively easier one to implement, as it only requires procurement of a boat and engine from approved tender suppliers. Hence, utilization rate is now above 80%. The Rural Housing Assistance Scheme and the Rural and Outer Island Program requires more work, including tendering process for machineries to be procured or hired under ROI, and finalization of plans and housing materials for rural and housing assistance, let alone fine-tuning guidelines for implementation. And I believe that will answer a lot of the questions from the Honorable Pramila Kumar, who was asking about how many houses we completed up to now. I must highlight the Ministry was able to recruit the required personnel for these programs in the past 3 months, which has greatly assisted in progressing with the administrative works required for the program implementation. For the rural housing program, I've already provided an update in my earlier response on Wednesday, whereas for the ROI program, the ministry is now successfully completing all the necessary tender board approval processes, which should be progressing with procurement and service delivery in the next 2 or 3 months. I note that the tenders, once awarded, will be valid for 3 years, which means for the new financial year, the ministry should be ready to implement in the first quarter once development projects have been identified. Mr. Speaker, so in November 2023, the Fiji Meteorological Services provided the 2023-2024 cyclone season outlook forecasting 2 to 3 tropical cyclones likely to pass through Fiji's exclusive economic zone during the 2023-2024 tropical cyclone season. Even while Fiji was impacted by the Category 2 tropical cyclone Mal, the intense rainfall brought by rain bands has impacted parts of our country with flash floods and riverine flooding in the months of November, impacting mainly the Wanindoi areas and recent March floods, heavily impacting the central, western, and northern divisions. Mr. Speaker, sir, the cost of responding to tropical cyclone Mal was $212,000, catering for fuel to support operations and initial damage assessments, the charter of vessels, procurement of food rations for evacuees, communications support, and subsistence allowances for the officers manning our emergency operations centers. And Mr. Speaker, sir, whilst the investment of the Fiji government is acknowledged, it would be remiss of me not to mention the critical support provided by our partners in the region, particularly the Government of New Zealand and the Government of Australia, that have always provided disaster response support in both cash and kind, in particular with humanitarian emergency relief supplies. Mr. Speaker, sir, I must acknowledge the work of the ministry staff in trying to press on with its 2 core roles for a 12-month period. One new program that has been assigned to the ministry is a coordination for relocation as per the standard operating procedure for planned relocation guidelines. I've already informed the House earlier this week, Mr. Speaker, sir, about the progress on the relocation of the Nambabatu village. We are working with existing resources and agencies to coordinate this project with other agencies of government. The ministry has already made its submission to the Ministry of Finance for the establishment of a new relocation unit as per the planned relocation guideline. Mr. Speaker, sir, all the divisions of the ministry work together during cyclone and non-cyclone season to achieve its planned activities. Of course, when it comes to saving lives, development work will be secondary. I must say that it is not always an easy journey for the staff, as they know that deliverables for these 2 core roles still have to be achieved, and I commend them for their passion and dedication. And Mr. Speaker, sir, like many of the ministries, we are also working on reviewing our 10-year 2021 to 2031 strategic development plan. Obviously, we'll have to align to the new strategic development plan, and we are mindful of the review of the Fijian administration, which may have some impact on how the ministry provides its service to the people of Fiji. Nevertheless, the ministry is also working on improving its employee satisfaction and retention strategy through ongoing training and retraining opportunities, that it would be ready for any inevitable change that may come our way in the foreseeable future, including mitigation efforts for staff turnover. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, sir, SDG 17, Partnership for the Goals, stands as a guiding principle in our pursuit of sustainable development in disaster management and rural development. It underscores the imperative of cooperation and partnerships in our collective endeavor. And by emphasizing the significance of multi-stakeholder partnerships, capacity building and resource mobilization, we affirm our shared obligation to address global challenges, including disaster risk reduction and resilience in development. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Yes, Honorable Usmati.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I thank the Minister for that reply to the question. One of the worst disasters that we have was the flooding that happened at the village of Dangea. Dangea is a place where 2 rivers converged, and I was actually in that village to see it flooded, homes filled with mud, completely destroyed. We were also part of the program of trying to relocate the village. and we were there at the groundbreaking. I'd just like to know if the Minister might give us an update on how far that has progressed, the relocation of Dongya village to the new site.
Honourable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, sir, at the moment, the FCOS has taken lead role in the Dongya relocation, and we've given her our assurance and our commitment to see what she can be assisted with from government. At the moment, I believe there's a German NGO, I think it's Bread of the World, that's giving financing for that, and FCOS has taken lead on that. But we are also providing oversight, and if there's any assistance that they need, we'll provide that when they need it. No.
Thank you. Honourable Leader of Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So my question to the Honourable Minister is on Roy. Roy, as you are well aware of, Minister was with the Ministry of Agriculture, and you have just stated in your statement that there are still a lot of projects or whatever it is that still undergoing the tender process. So my question is, there was a purpose behind Roy when it was in agriculture. What has changed when the program has now been shifted to the Ministry of Agriculture in terms of the purposes in which it was established and the type of projects undertaken when Roy was with the Ministry of Agriculture? So what is the main difference now when that has been transferred to your ministry? Thank you.
Thank you. And Honourable Minister, before reply, could you just explain what ROI stands for?
It's a Rural and Outer Island Development Program.
For the benefit of the listeners.
Yes, I believe that it aligns with what the coalition government has decided to focus on, and which is to give all the core agricultural aspects of the Ministry of Agriculture's work to them, and the development of the rural areas, which sometimes in some areas they overlap over each other, and it's that overlap area that we've decided to focus the development work on ROI on. Honourable Leader of Opposition. Nak.
Thank you. Honourable members, there being no further supplementary questions, I intend to adjourn the House now for tea, and we'll resume when the bell is sounded.